On the news, 3 killed as gunmen enforce sit-at-home attack in Anambra communities. Rivers crisis heightens as Fubara directs administrative heads to take charge of local government areas. And Health Commissioner says cholera strain in Lagos highly aggressive and contagious. Thank you for joining us on News Now. I'm Sibisola Atikun. The power tussle in Rivers is heating up as Governor Siminalayi Fubara has directed heads of administrations in the 23 local government areas of the state to assume leadership of the local councils, sequel to the expiration of the tenure of the 23 chairpersons. On Monday, Governor Fubara gave the directive in a statewide broadcast on Tuesday, June 18 in Port Harcourt to mark the end of the tenure of the local council chairman and councillors in the state. Fubara's broadcast comes after the council chairman had threatened that they will remain in office after the expiration of their office, relying on a law passed by the Martin Amewule-led River State House of Assembly, which extended their tenure by 6 months. The governor emphasized that the transfer of power to the administrators was critical to ensuring the continuity of governance in the local government areas.
I wish to acknowledge and commend the dedicated services of the outgoing elected local government chairmen, vice chairmen, and councillors who were elected and sworn in 3 years ago and whose tenures expired yesterday, the 17th of June of the year of our Lord, 2024, as provided for by the law. On behalf of the government and the people of River State, I thank you all for your sacrifice and commend your commitment to public service and our dear River State. I congratulate you all for a successful completion of your tenure and wish you well in your future endeavors. As we move forward in making sure that the Constitution of the Federal Republic is upheld and that law and order is maintained, as we continue to strive to provide leadership and direction for our people, I hereby direct head of local government administration to continue to provide leadership in their respective local government areas. Head of local government administration are hereby directed to immediately take charge of the councils with renewed vigor and readiness to serve and await further directive as we navigate towards even greater accomplishments together. I assure you, my good people of River State, that we shall continue to defend, provide infrastructural development, sound healthcare delivery, quality education, and undiluted welfare service package for all our people and workers.
Amid threats made by the 23 local government chairmen not to leave office at the expiration of their tenure, experts believe that Governor Fubara's directive at the administrators to take over the local government areas is a smart way in navigating the political landmines set out for his administration by pro-Nyesom Wike loyalists, lawmakers and council chairpersons. Speaking exclusively to TV360 Nigeria, legal practitioner Evans Ufele pointed out that the order given by Governor Fubara is legally binding and not in violation of any law. He says former Governor Wike's loyalists are expected to abide by the order made by Governor Fubara, urging the local government chairman to leave amicably for the benefit of the people of River State, pending when the court will rule on the matter.
Well, I think the chairman, they are quite wrong. So want to stay put after the expiration of the term of their office. It's wrong. Once your tenure expires under democracy, you are expected to exit that position. Now, they have argued that the Amaole's faction of the State House of Assembly of River State had, had enacted a law to extend the tenure of the office by 6 months. And I find that rather disconcerting, because after that was passed, the matter was taken to court, and the court had ruled then that such extension was wrong under the law, that it was contrary to the Constitution, and that couldn't have been the position of the law. And as such, the lawmakers, the state house of the chairman of the House of Assembly must vacate their office. Okay, the chairman of local government rather must vacate their office. Okay, and that is supposed to be the position of the law. Then this morning, the state governor asked the administrators of the local government to take over. Okay, and as at yesterday, the people of Rivers State, the youths, some elders, and so many persons, converged to say that the chairman, whose tenure has expired, must not come into the complex of the secretariat of the local government, because they have failed. They took it for the point that they have failed. That's how they expressed their thoughts. And this morning, we have seen some level of protests ongoing. We've seen situations where the statue of Wike in one of the complexes have been pulled down and destroyed by angry youths and all that. Now, the people are expected to listen to the governor of that state. The governor made a directive. Even without the directive of the governor, the tenure of office of the local government chairman had expired. It had expired for Christ's sake. And if the state had not conducted election up until now, it does not then mean that their tenure is automatically extended, or that the State House of Assembly, a fashion of it, had passed a law to extend. Where is it stated in the law that the State House of Assembly have such powers? They don't have such powers. The tenure of local government is 3 years, as expressly stated by the Constitution. The 1999 Constitution of Nigeria is amended. So it does not lie in the mouth of any State House of Assembly, any person, group of persons, to now come together and enact a law to set aside the Constitution.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police in Rivers, Olatunji Disu, has assured the people of the state that security operatives will not allow the crisis enveloping the local government areas lead to a breakdown of law and order. Speaking to journalists at the police headquarters in Port Harcourt on Monday, Disu asked all political players to respect the appeal and cease hostilities pending the hearing and determination of their case in court. Disu also declared his readiness to protect the lives and properties of the people of the state. He further warned individuals against taking the law into their hands, saying that anyone found doing so would face the full wrath of the law. Muslim faithful in Nigeria celebrated Eid al-Adha amid price hikes on consumables and transportation costs despite low disposable income, dampening the mood of travelers. Some commuters who spoke to TV360 Nigeria attributed the spike in transportation costs to the recent inflation rate ravaging the nation's economy and not just the festival. Our correspondent Sydney Okafor completes the story.
Usually, the cost of transportation tends to rise as the Eid al-Kabir approaches, and this year is no exception. The removal of fuel subsidy and subsequent increase in the price of petrol has pushed up the cost of transportation. Here at Agege Motor Park, commuters who are embarking on trips to their hometowns to celebrate Eid say they are not surprised at the significant increase.
The stress is too much and it's too costly. So before it was 6K, now 8,000 naira. So you can see how everywhere is so too jam-packed, not to fear at all.
The price of the tea it has skyrocketed. I think it was normally, the normal charge is 6,000, but we are taking it to 8,000. And even as we are taking it to 8,000, we are not comfortable in the bus because it's been jam-packed. Ordinary is supposed to be 3,300, but they are taking 4,400. No, we couldn't blame them because we know the amount of money they are spending on fuel. If not for the hike in fuel price, I think everything will be like this, and they will take it 3,300 as against the 4,400 they are taking it.
The ever-busy Agege Motor Park that is usually crowded with commuters looks scanty. Even the drivers conveying passengers from Lagos to Oyo and Kogi by road grumbled over the low turnout of passengers.
When in this Salah period, we did not add into the transport fares because of the hardship people are suffering. Seriously, we are begging governments to look into it for us, especially in fuel aspects. They should help us bring the price down so that we can meet up, because even we to a transporter, we are not enjoying the business. The business is just totally down.
Everyone knows how the nation is at the moment. There is hiking fuel and there is hardship across the country. We are calling on the government to intervene on these issues.
It is a well-known fact that once the price of a commodity increases, it will not come down. This is part of some of the challenges that Muslim faithful that plan to travel for this year's Eid al-Kabir celebration are facing. However, they are not discouraged with the price of the fare hike to celebrate with their loved ones. Sydney Okafor, TV360, Lagos.
To health matters now, the Lagos State Health Commissioner Akin Abayomi has announced that tests have confirmed the recent disease outbreak in the state is due to cholera and that the identified strain is highly aggressive and contagious. Abayomi revealed on his X handle on Monday that the identified strain has the potential for widespread dissemination. According to him, 350 suspected cases of cholera were reported in 29 wards across multiple local government areas in Lagos State, with 17 confirmed cases and 15 fatalities attributed to severe dehydration caused by delayed presentation. The commissioner noted that through community-based case finding and contact tracing, the number of cases has peaked and is now declining. Speaking on this development, health experts attribute the high number of cases in Lagos to absence of quick medical response and contaminated water sources.
And Lagos has a lot of access to hospitals who have these facilities to test for cholera. So you would definitely see an increasing trend in Lagos State compared to other states where they might not have access to these modernized hospital facilities. I'm sure in other states, there might not be as much. If Lagos, say, has about, let's say, 15 modernized hospitals, not rural areas now, let's say the city has about 15. In other states, you might see like 3, 4, and then also affordability. How many people can actually afford access to this care where they can actually test for these things? So yes, it is an increasing trend, and we're noticing more in Lagos because we have the laboratory support to test for these things. And it's increasing more in Lagos because of the water that is basically dirty, and we need to culture some of the water. There's a particular agar. Laboratory scientists watching this would know what I mean by agar, that they use to test if cholera is present in water, basically. Okay. Early symptoms of cholera usually start with the normal symptoms one would experience when you're having food poisoning. So it could go from mild abdominal cramps. It might not even be a severe sharp pain, like the pain someone will have when maybe someone is having an inflamed appendix or a perforated abdomen. It might just be the abdominal cramps you would experience during usual food poisoning. Basically, the stomach is biting you. Someone will come to you, oh, doctor, my stomach is biting me. That's one. Number 2, you may or may not experience a fever. Number 3, you may or may not have vomiting. And the vomiting is usually intractile. Basically, what do I mean? You can't hold things down.
From health to security, a yet-to-be-confirmed number of persons have been feared killed in Nnewi community in Nnewi North local government area and Nobi community in Idemili South local government area of Anambra State when gunmen invaded both communities on Monday. Several other persons also sustained varying degrees of injury during both attacks. Sources in the area say the assailants, suspected to be enforcing the Monday sit-at-home exercise, shot indiscriminately into the air when they arrived in the communities. Meanwhile, the police public relations officer in Anambra State, Tochukwu Ikenga, confirmed the incident and disclosed injured persons are receiving medical attention. Still on security, the Lagos State Police Command has confirmed the rescue of the abducted Fuani brothers and others who were kidnapped on Friday night. The Fuani brothers were kidnapped around Falomo Bridge, Ikoyi, Lagos, while traveling from Apapa to Victoria Island by boat on the night of June 14. Police spokesperson in the state, Benjamin Hundeyin, said the rescue operation was successful thanks to the joint effort of the Lagos Marine Police and the Navy. We'll go on a break, but coming up, Kenya's government scraps proposed taxes in a controversial finance bill after a public outcry. Stay with us for details.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
When you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places, the Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world. A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. Sequel to the expiration of the tenure of the 23 chairpersons of the councils in Rivers State on Monday, Governor Siminalayi Fubara has directed heads of the administration in the local government areas of the state to assume leadership of the local councils. Governor Fubara gave the directive in a statewide broadcast on Tuesday, June 18, in Port Harcourt to mark the end of the tenure of the local council chairmen and councillors in the state. We also told you that the Lagos State Health Commissioner Akin Abayomi has announced that tests have confirmed the recent disease outbreak in the state is due to cholera and the identified strain is highly aggressive and contagious. Abayomi revealed this on his X page on Monday that the identified strain has the potential for widespread dissemination. The commissioner says that through community-based case finding and contact tracing, the number of cases has peaked and is now declining. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Well, let's get more stories in the world of business. Joy Uchejim has the latest. Over to you, Joy.
Thank you, Simi, and welcome to Business News. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission has announced an extension to the 2024 licensing bid round registration by 10 days. The Commission's Chief Executive Officer, Gbenga Komolafe, who shared this in Abuja on Tuesday, said the extension is to allow interested investors to take advantage of the expanded opportunities. Komolafe explained that in pursuit of the Commission's commitment to derive value from the country's abundant oil and gas reserves and increase production, the Commission has been working assiduously with multi-client companies to undertake more exploratory activities, acquire more data to foster and encourage further investment in the Nigerian upstream sector. Still on business, amid calls for a new minimum wage for workers in Nigeria, economist Mokhtar Mohammed says organized labor must be considerate in its demand from the federal government. Mohammed, who spoke exclusively to TV360 Nigeria, says a sustainable amount will ensure other aspects of the economy are addressed. According to him, unlike federal and state governments, which might pay conveniently, the organized private sector will be the worst hit if the minimum wage is not sustainable.
Sometimes people only look at the states, and I ask myself, when you look at the state and the federal government, how many workers do this state and the federal government employ compared to the private sector that employed over 80% of Nigerians? So nobody's looking at that, and I think that is why a lot of Nigerians should look at that area, unless they are saying the minimum wage is just for the public civil servant, then you leave the private sector out of it. Because for states, I think for state government, I think if they cut their excesses, they should be able to pay. Revenue has really gone up by over 200% since President Tinubu came to power. So they don't have any excuse not to be able to pay the minimum wage. For state, for the federal government, the same thing. But for the organized private sector, high interest rate have not helped that sector in growing the economy. A lot of companies are exiting Nigeria because of a very high environment that is full with a lot of volatility, especially in exchange rate for the manufacturing sector. And then you look at tariff that in terms of those that bring goods into this country, the tariff keeps getting high by the day. Today, the government is saying 1,400. And so if at last government agreed on a particular policy with the organized labor, they will also have to look at the private sector and begin to take a bite of some of their own revenue. That maybe in the area of tariff, those that bring in good, government may need to take a bite of their revenue and make sure that maybe they will have to knock off tariff over some manufacturing equipment and others, so that they will be able to pay the minimum wage. Otherwise, what will happen is that most companies will start doing either, whether you call it like sizing or downsizing. That could be the order of the day, especially in the private sector. I think the most we should be worried about is the private sector, which is the key driver of the Nigerian economy. And many of them will be able to afford a high minimum wage as it stands at this time. I think it will be very difficult.
That's it on business. Trading on the Nigerian stock market will resume on Wednesday, June 19th, and that's after the Salah holiday. Simi, back to you for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Joy. And Kenya's Parliamentary Finance Committee has asked what would have been a 16% levy on bread, as well as higher taxes on cooking oil and mobile money services after a public outcry. The announcement by the MPs came as police fired tear gas and used water cannons to disperse angry protesters in the capital, Nairobi. Since coming to office in 2022, President William Ruto has introduced several new and unpopular taxes with the aim of eliminating the country's national debt of nearly $80 billion. But critics of the latest proposals fear they will stifle economic growth and lead to job losses. China's embassy in the Philippines has accused the United States military of hypocrisy, malign intention, and double standards in response to a report of a secret U.S. campaign to undermine confidence in Chinese vaccines and other aid during the COVID-19 pandemic. The remarks made by the spokesperson of the Chinese embassy in Manila on Tuesday were in response to an investigative report that said the U.S. military had launched a clandestine program during the COVID pandemic to discredit China's Sinovac Sinovac inoculation in the Philippines. In response, a Pentagon spokeswoman says China had started a disinformation campaign to falsely blame the United States for the spread of COVID-19. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Nigerian artist Terry G has appeared on Afrobeats podcast to explain why he failed to clear his collaboration Mary Jane with Wizkid and why he has been asked to take down the song. According to the seminal Nigerian street pop star, during his days, collaborations were the result of love and respect among colleagues, and there were no formalities and need for clearance before releasing the collaboration. Terry G stated that his management got an email from Wizkid's lawyers who demanded that he take down the song, and he has instructed his team to take it down. Terry G's decision to release his song Mary Jane in 2024 came as a surprise to fans, especially since the song was recorded many years ago. It also led to speculation as to whether the song was cleared by Wizkid.
And on sports, Croatian midfielder Nikola Vlasic has pulled out of the Croatian national team due to a muscle injury and will miss the rest of Euro 2024. In a statement released by the Federation, Vlasic was injured during a training session with an MRI scan later revealing a torn muscle. The 26-year-old was an unused substitute in Croatia's tournament opening 3-0 loss to Spain on Saturday. Before the competition, Vlasic also suffered an adductor injury but was eventually cleared to play with the squad in Germany. And that's all on News Now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.